Hi, Joe Bolte, PFR operating herbicide specialist with Becks Hybrids at our Effingham, Illinois location. With me today, we're actually across the river in Missouri. We have a special guest, Dr. Kevin Bradley. He is a state extension weed scientist here at the University of Missouri. And Dr. Bradley, as I sit there and start thinking about all these different trait platforms and things like that, we're starting to get back to maybe the glyphosate days where we maybe have a little bit of an easy button to push again, because we do have effective post options that maybe a few years ago we didn't have when we were in the glyphosate resistant era, really kind of talking about some of those post applications. Now, to me, I'm very passionate when it comes to herbicides and stuff. You know, over here doing my master's work in undergrad, was taught a lot of valuable information when it came to weed management. And one thing I'm really kind of pushing, really like to learn and kind of get out to our audience is trying not to push that easy button. What can we do when it comes to still having effective weed management? Something that really comes to mind is some research you guys just recently published, the 6-way resistant water hemp population that you guys found in Missouri and stuff. So I know that's a little bit more extreme case. Maybe we may find more 2 to 3 different modes of action a population could be resistant to. So A, how can we prevent that? And B, if we do have multiple groups that we're resistant to, how can we manage that?
Yeah, so we've had a 6-way resistant water hemp population that we found. I use it as an example. It's not widespread throughout the state, but I use it as an example of, hey, this is kind of like how bad it can get. And but as you said, most of our fields are more typical 3-way, 4-way, and that's bad enough. I mean, like that's pretty bad. So I would also agree with, we've been hit with the marketing that there is this new concept of this, everything's easy again, with these traits, and there's nothing wrong with the traits. But at the same time, one of my main messages to growers is there's no going back to the easy and the days of Roundup Ready, how wonderful it was, one thing, very effective, weed size wasn't all that important. That's not true with any of these traits. And so, it's going to be a more complex situation. It's not a grower. No grower wants to hear that. I get it. I don't want to hear it. I don't want to say it. But I believe our future is not going to be more simple. It's going to be more complex. And so we have to learn all these modes of action and how mixing is important, how rotating is important, but mixing is very important. And not just mixing, but mixing effective modes of action.
People are going to be looking at the herbicide programs going, well, what can I cut? And maybe one of the things people are saying, they're going, well, maybe I cut that in-season residual. I mean, would you recommend going against that? And what's the value of that overlapping residual in the season?
I'd say, first of all, I understand the desire and the economic crunch right now is hard. So I get it. But on the other hand, if it were mine, I think the best chance at me having the least amount of water hemp or palmer, either one of those two weeds, left in the field at the end of the season is with an overlapping residual. Of course, we're going to have an effective pre up front, but also have an overlapping residual. So I get the question all the time too. I have farmers asking me, do we really need that other residual and all of that? Well, if you want the cleanest fields, I mean, yeah. And if you don't want water hemp seed or palmer seed in your soil next year, yeah. And that's what I'm shooting for. So what we have data that shows, in some years we can have fully canopied soybeans in August, and we get a pretty good rainfall event, and about 5 or 6 days later we have a massive flush in water hemp. And if you don't have a residual on the ground right then, which you're not going to, your pre would have run out by then that's just, there's nothing you can do about that, So that's where the value of the overlapping residual comes in.
Yep. Well, Dr. Bradley, I really want to thank you for your time.
Yeah.
This is Joe Bolte coming from Columbia, Missouri. Thank you with Becks Hybrids.